crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Welcome home, family, and join us for the fun. Colorful guests, people everywhere under the sun. Interesting conversations. Prayers first has begun. Invocation, manifestation, conversation then will come. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramid. Let's start drinking some water, juice or tea. King Killer's recommended for you and me. Guayusa mixed together, maple syrup or honey. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, the artists, the seers, authors and teachers, dissolving your fears. Workshops of wisdom, the circle is wide. Plant medicine whispers, the planets align. No matter.
Peace, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Taleb Mosi Bey on Magnets, Crystals, Pyramids YouTube and Moroccan Post YouTube, Moroccan Post Media YouTube. Welcome, everyone. We have a wonderful show for you tonight with my co-pilot, Brother Israel Bey. All right.
Peace.
Addressing the misconceptions that lies within the Moorish movement. Let people know that we're on, that we're live and direct. Share it to your various social media platforms. If you like what you hear and see, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, you have any newcomers, you haven't subscribed, please do so. All right. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we're gonna get right to it. So my website, Hank will probably have my website strolling across the screen, mooresandmasonry.org for anyone interested in getting my books. That's mooresandmasonry.org. Here it is. Thank you, Brother Hank, for Moors and Masonry Part 1, Moors and Masonry Part 2, How Venus and Moon Rule, Etymology and Vocabulary, Etymology and Vocabulary Supplementary 1, the Masonic Complement Square, the connection to measurement and timekeeping, and the illumination of the mind, the Illuminati and the illumination of the mind. Go to mooresandmasonry.org. All right, so we're going to get right to it. We have until we'll be ending at 8:45. There is a show. Hank will be live and direct. I forget what he mentioned to me a few minutes ago, but Hank will be live and direct at 9 o'clock. So you can stay tuned. All right, 9 o'clock. So we'll be ending at 8:45, and another show after this at 9 o'clock on this same platform, Magnets, Crystal, Pyramid, YouTube. Please tune in at 9 o'clock. You'll see Brother Hank and his guests tonight, and an hour and 55 minutes. All right, we're going to hit it, Brother Israel.
All right. Peace. So we are addressing the misconceptions at large within the Moorish movement using evidentiary standards. All right, misconceptions equal lack of knowledge. Let's break down the word misconception. The word misconception is a noun.
Hey, brother, you sound low. It might be on my end. Your volume.
Shine. How do I sound now?
Same. Let me continue talking. I'm going to the chat. How does he sound? See, going into the chat here.
Misconception is a noun, a false opinion, prefix, mis dash, meaning bad, wrong, plus prefix con dash, together with, plus root kapir, meaning to take, from Pyru cap dash to grasp.
Hey, Israel, stop for a minute. We have Kenya Jones say you sound good over here. We have DD lower than normal. Kenneth L. Bay, he sounds low, brother. So we got two that says you sound low.
Let me see.
And you sound low with to me. All right, so welcome anyone who that's joining. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey on Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube. All right, we have both Israel and I will be presenting tonight. He's checking the sound here. Do this time to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. You have my website that is strolling across the stream for the next hour and 35 minutes.
How do I sound now?
Say something else.
Check. Can you hear me? Peace.
It's the same. Do you think you need to go?
I don't know what the log out and come back in?
Yes. Hey, Hank, he's going to log out and come back in. Yes. All right. So Israel's going to log out and come back in. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey on Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube and Moroccan Post Media YouTube. We have a very wonderful presentation for you tonight, addressing the misconceptions and within the Moorish movement at large. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so. Let people know that we're live and direct. Greatly appreciate your support that you have given me over the years. And thank you for joining on this platform. As I said before, Hank will be live and direct at 9 o'clock, and he has a special guest. So stay tuned for that show right after we're going to be ending at 8:45, and so that his show will start at 9 o'clock. So we're waiting for Israel to come back on. So once again, thank you for joining us. Let people know that we are on live and direct. Post this on your various social media platforms. Greatly appreciate all that you do in teaching our people that we are Moors and not Negro, color, black. Helping to restore the Moorish national consciousness and addressing the 200 plus years of our being subjugated under the United States, where the United States has maintained our subjugation, has maintained the renaming and reclassifying us, whereby maintaining the stripping of our cultural identity and maintaining and forced us into their legal system and place us into a new citizenship framework, maintaining our subjugation. Juali laid the foundation, laid the groundwork, the footprints to restore or set the stage for the recovery of our lost Moorish sovereignty, which is a remedy for our continued long-lasting subjugation under United States jurisdiction. So definitely want to thank you. Waiting for Israel to come back in. Brother Hank, is he backstage? You see Israel backstage? All right, so we have across the screens my website, mooresandmasonry.org. mooresandmasonry.org. Across the screen, you'll see my website, and anyone interested in getting my books, go to my website. How do I sound, everyone? How's my sound? To get a sound check on my end. All right, so Brother Hank, Israel's on backstage. Brother Hank. Brother Hank. All right, I got it. All right, let me see.
Peace, peace. How do I sound? How do I sound, everyone? Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right, all right. So the misconception.
You sound good. All right, here we go.
All right, the word misconception is a noun, and it means a false opinion. Prefix mis dash, meaning bad, wrong, plus prefix con dash, meaning together or with, plus root kapir, to mean meaning to take, from root cat dash, to grasp. So false opinion. What is the meaning of a false opinion? The word false is an adjective meaning deceptive, deceitful, pretend, mistaken. See fail. See the word fail. The word fail is a verb meaning be unsuccessful in accomplishing a purpose. From Latin fallere, to trip, cause to fall. The van traces it to paru, meaning to stumble. From Sanskrit scalate, to stumble. The word opinion is a noun. From Latin opinionem, opinion, conjecture, fancy, judge, suppose. Opine, from paru op dash, to choose. See option. So false opinions. When one follows a false opinion, they're choosing to stumble or they choose to fail. And those are based on misconceptions. Grasping the wrong, to grasp, root compare, to take, to grasp the wrong, together, to grasp together bad or wrong information. What is evidence and what are evidentiary standards? Evidence. Evidence is explicit information shared by the communicator that is used to back up or to justify the dependability of a factual claim. In prescriptive arguments, evidence will be needed to support reasons that are factual claims. In descriptive arguments, evidence will be needed to directly support a descriptive conclusion. Legal application of evidentiary standards. Evidentiary standards are the legal principle that determine how much convincing evidence is required to prove a fact or a claim in court. Professional debate application of evidentiary standards. Evidentiary standards is the principle and criteria for evaluating the quality, relevance, and credibility of evidence presented to support a claim in an argument. So I'm setting the stage for the audience to know how to view evidence, to know what evidence is, how to view it. So this is a page cover from the book called, it's the 11th edition, called Asking the Right Questions, A Guide to Critical Thinking by M. Neil Brown and Stuart M. Keeley. Chapter 8, this is the table of contents on the right. Chapter 8, How Good is the Evidence? Intuition, personal experience, case examples, testimonials, and appeals to authority. The need for evidence, locating factual claims, sources of evidence, intuition as evidence, personal experience as evidence, case examples as evidence, testimonials as evidence, appeals to authority as evidence, using this critical question, your academic writing and evidence, practice exercises and sample responses. Chapter 9, how good is the evidence? Personal observation, research studies and analogies. Personal observation as evidence, research studies as evidence, general problems with research findings, generalizing from the research sample, generalizing from the research measures, bias surveys and questionnaires, analogies as evidence, identifying and comprehending analogies, evaluating analogies, when you can most trust expert opinion, research and the internet, practice exercises, sample responses. So this is chapter 8 and chapter 9 in the book Asking the Right Questions, the 11th edition, A Guide to Critical Thinking.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the subtitle. It's this, we have the addressing the misconceptions within the Moorish movement at large using evidentiary standards. That's the subtitle, using evidentiary standards. So Israel setting the stage for the presentation.
Indeed. So this is from chapter 8 of that book, Asking the Right Questions. Sources of evidence. When should we accept a factual claim as dependable? There are 3 instances in which we will be most inclined to agree with a factual claim. Number 1, when the claim appears to be undisputed common knowledge, such as the claim weightlifting increases muscular body mass. Number 2, when the claim is the conclusion from a well-reasoned argument. And number 3, when the claim is adequately supported by solid evidence. Our concern in this chapter is the 3rd instance. Determining the adequacy of evidence requires us to ask, how good is the evidence? To answer this question, we must first ask, what do we mean by evidence? Attention. Evidence is explicit information shared by the communicator that is used to back up or to justify the dependability of a factual claim. See chapter 3. In prospective arguments, evidence will be needed to support reasons that are factual claims. In descriptive arguments, evidence will be needed to directly support a descriptive conclusion. The quality of evidence depends on the kind of evidence it is. Thus, to evaluate evidence, we first need to ask, what kind of evidence is it? Knowing the kind of evidence tells us what questions we should ask. When used appropriately, each kind of evidence can be good evidence. It can help support an author's claim, like a gold prospector closely examining the gravel in her pan for potentially high quality ore. We must closely examine the evidence to determine its quality. We want to know major kinds of evidence: intuition, personal experiences, case examples, testimonials, appeals to authorities or experts, personal observations, research studies, and analogies. Does an author's evidence provide dependable support for her claim? Thus, we begin to evaluate evidence by asking, how good is the evidence? Always keep in the back of your mind that no evidence will be a slam dunk that gets the job done conclusively. All right. So now we're gonna address the misconceptions at large within the Moorish community using evidentiary standards. So the misconception at large: the Moors established the United States federal government for themselves and the state governments for the Europeans.
All right, so Israel set the stage for the presentation using evidentiary standards. So what would be the evidentiary standards that this is a claim here?
Mm-hmm.
What would be the evidentiary standards that we would use to support this claim? the Moors established the United States government. So we would look to the Constitution Conventions minutes. Constitution Convention minutes. And within the minutes, first it'll be roll call. You would have roll call in the minutes. Before we get into reading the actual minutes, what would be first? Roll call. So-and-so, delegate of Virginia. So-and-so, delegate of Maryland. So-and-so, delegates of South Carolina. So-and-so, delegates of North Carolina. So-and-so, delegates of New Jersey. So-and-so, delegates of Pennsylvania. So-and-so, delegates of Rhode Island. So-and-so, delegates of Massachusetts. So-and-so, delegates of Pennsylvania. So-and-so, the delegates of Georgia. So-and-so, delegates of Maryland. That's first. Why? By due process, by due process. Because you cannot have a meeting without a quorum. They cannot convene that particular day without having a quorum. So understand why roll call too. That's part of due process. They must have a quorum to convene to have a meeting on any particular day during the convention. So roll call. And then so who's in attendance that day? They're delegates. So James Madison, you say, well, James Madison attended the Constitutional Convention. James Madison, delegate of Virginia, attended the Constitutional Convention. Well, James Madison attended the Constitutional Convention. No. Delegate. James Madison, delegate of Virginia. Because to say James Madison attended the Constitutional Convention would mean that he attended in his own personal, non-official capacity. That ain't happening. James Madison, delegate of. So Israel Bay, where are the Bays and Eels? Where is that? Delegate of what? Of what state? Mm-hmm. Remember, they meant to revise the Articles of Confederation. They already had a governing instrument called the Articles of Confederation and Perpetual Union. And delegates of the 13 states signed that. It was drafted in 1777, ratified in 1781. You see the signatory section of the Articles of Confederation. The only states that could convene at the Constitutional Convention are the states that signed, that was part of drafting and signing the Articles of Confederation. No new entity could be in. Why? Because John Jay proposed that the Articles of Confederation be revised. So they met to revise. Reason why did they meet? To revise the Articles of Confederation. That's why they met. There was a proposal by John Jay. Let's put this in proper historical perspective.
Yeah.
Put it in proper due process perspective.
Yeah.
They met to revise the Articles of Confederation.
Yeah. Giving them the elements of the establishment of the United States.
Yes. Because they had a framework already, the Articles of Confederation. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at, all right, well, within the Articles of Confederation, there isn't federalism. So federalism was a major legal principle that they wanted to adopt and draft in with the principles of the draft within the language structure of the Constitution, as that is not in federalism, is not a principle in the Article of Confederation. Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation. The United States, the Articles of Articles of Confederations the states, Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation, the states shall retain their sovereignty. Is I'm saying it, read it.
Article 2.
Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation. Each state shall retain their sovereignty, freedom, and independence.
Yep.
All right? By that language, that's not federalism. That language, that language there, that substantive language, that's the states had more power. So once I'm showing, they met to revise the Articles of Confederation. That one of the major principles that they wanted to place in the Constitution was federalism. So, and then you also have another principle that they wanted to embody within the Constitution was popular sovereignty. So here we go. Article 1, Article 2 again. Article 2, each state shall retain, Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation, each state shall retain their sovereignty, freedom, and independence. That's not popular sovereignty. So here we go. Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation and the preamble of the United States Constitution. Here we go. Once again, met to revise the Articles of Confederation. We, the people of the United States, that's popular sovereignty. That's the difference. What's the difference? Article 2 of the Articles of Confederation, they're working to revise that. Working to revise the Articles of Confederation. We, the people of the United States. The political people, we, the people of the people, is a political phrase that refers to popular sovereignty, whereby the sovereignty is vested in the people and exercised through their elected representatives. That is what we the people mean. The phrase "the people," but that is not in the Articles of Confederation. I had to give him a clear-cut example, Israel.
Yeah. Yes. Hey.
All right, and then let me finish this up. Mm-hmm. So they met. They used the Madison Plan. So they decided to use the Madison Plan. James Madison, delegate of Virginia, decided to use his James Madison Plan. Mm-hmm. And so it was working from James Madison Plan. They drafted, they signed August. During August was when the ratification procedures were drafted. The ratification procedures for the ratification conventions. So the delegates took back to their respective states the ratification convention procedures. They held ratification conventions. They had debates, ratification debates. We had anti-federalists and federalists. Mm-hmm. Debating. We had 88 articles known as the Federalist Papers that was written. John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, and James Madison writing those articles known as collectively as the Federalist Papers, 88 articles to push forward the ratification of the Constitution. 12 of the states held ratification conventions. Rhode Island ratified it to 1991. 9 of the states, due process, 9 of the states had to ratify it. So once it was ratified, an enforcement date was set, March 4th, 1789. All right, so I just wanted to make sure I want to be thorough with that. So we can, once again, it's addressing the misconceptions within this Moorish movement at large using evidentiary standards. Yep.
Showing the elements. Another misconception at large, the United States and the Moroccan Empire merged as one nation, and the evidence is the dual seal on the reverse side of the Federal Reserve note, aka the $1 bill.
All right. Once again, Israel set the stage. He set the stage for this presentation. How good is the evidence? So the images, the image that's on the back of the one note or one they call $1 bill. How good is the evidence? So where are the primary sources, the actual sources? What would be, because that's before that image, there has to be what? That image would only reflect what? An actual sources, an actual agreement. Mm-hmm. The imaging, the agreement, that's not the agreement. Here's the evidence. The back of the Federal Reserve note. That's not the agreement, though. How good? That's not. What's a unification agreement? That's a unification treaty. You mean the back of the Federal Reserve note is Declaration of Merger? Right. That's not the agreement. How good is the evidence? Keep in mind, as long as we clear, that is not the agreement. That's not a unification treaty. That is not a declaration of merger. So because you're talking about bringing what is the process? What is the procedure? We talk about bringing two sovereign entities together, two separate together, because these two entities, United States and Morocco, Morocco had a treaty, all right, 2 years prior, and actually the same year. It was at 1787. 1786 was when the Muhammad ibn Abdullah signed the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between His Imperial Majesty Emperor Morocco and the United States. The United States, all right, signed January 1781. All right, so the treaty was ratified in July 1787. So actually, the treaty of Peace and Friendship had not been ratified at the start of the Constitutional Convention. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship had been ratified by the United States in 1780, in July of that year, 1787.
Right. Yep.
Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning the treaty had not even been enforced. It had been ratified by the United States. So once again, we clear. As long as we clear that the back of the Federal Reserve note is not a unification treaty. It's not a declaration. It's not the instrument, the actual instrument. As long as we clear on that. Where is the actual instrument? Unification treaty, declaration of merger. All right, we can go to the next one.
All right. Next misconception at large, individual Moors can invoke the 1836 Peace and Friendship Treaty between the United States and the Moroccan Empire.
All right. You have what is known as a principle in treaties, rights of action, individual rights of action, what's called private rights of action, non-private rights of action. Private rights of action and non-private rights of action. All right, just write these down, my brothers and sisters. These are two major principles when you're dealing with treaties. Does a treaty have private rights of action? Which means that what is that private rights of action? That an individual can use the treaty in court, an individual. Mm-hmm. Neither the 1787 nor the 1836 treaty offers a private rights of action Why, Abdullah? Because you have an extraterritoriality clauses. An extraterritoriality or compensatory or extraterritorial consular jurisdiction clause, whereby only the Moorish consul or United States consul. So when that substantive language, the treaty does not offer a private rights of action. It's just that simple. Understanding private rights of action, non-private rights of action, understanding extraterritoriality or compensatory or extraterritorial consular jurisdiction, only a Moorish consul or your United States consul. So it doesn't offer a private right to action. It's what it is, Israel. You got to know principles, though. They can read it all they want. They can read it 1,000 times. They can read it 1,000,000 times. They can read it whatever many times. If they don't know principles, private rights of action, non-private rights of action, extraterritoriality clause, what that be? If they don't know principles.
Yeah.
All right, go to the next one.
Another misconception at large. United States became a corporation in 1871 via Act of Congress.
All right, here we go. I'm ready for this one. I'm ready for this one, brother. You know I am, brother. Yeah. All right, here we go. So the United States became a corporation in 1871 via the Act of Congress. All right. We have the preamble. We have the United States within the preamble. We, the people of the United States. We have United States within Article 1. Article 1, Section 1 of the United States Constitution. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. We have Article 2, Section 1 of the United States Constitution. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the United States of America. We have Article 3, Section 1. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. Article 1 of the Articles of Confederation. The style name of this confederacy shall be the United States of America. All right, here we go. So you said via an act of Congress. Let's go back. How was the United States Constitution brought into force? Let's look at the due process. John Jay proposed that the Articles of Confederation be revised. So starting with issues that they had, knowing that the Articles of Confederation was not strong to address issues because the states had more power, a lot of power under the Articles of Confederation. And so you had the treaty between the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and United States. So states will violate the treaty and the way because the principles of federalism are not embodied there in Articles of Confederation, and you had war debts. So the way it was structured. So they needed to solve this issue here. So John Jay proposed that the Articles of Confederation be revised. So now you have issues that need to be addressed, dealing with issue of states violating the treaty, holding the states' feet to the fire. So they needed a stronger instrument. All right. So the proposals made. Then they choose the Madison Plan. And from there, they've convened. Delegates of the 13 states convened at the Constitutional Convention. Had roll call, minutes are taken. Then drafted It's signed. Articles of Confederation is signed by delegates of the 13 states. Ratification procedures are taken back to their respective states. They held ratification conventions. 12 of the 13 states held ratification conventions. 9 of the 12 states ratified it. We're talking about the due process, all right, that brought this about. So let's just keep in mind, due process that brought this Constitution into force, all right? Congress is a creature of the Constitution. The United States presidency is a creature of the Constitution. United States Supreme Court is a creature of the Constitution. Judicial power, all legislative power shall be vested, herein granted, shall be vested in a Congress of the United States. That's Article 1, Section 1. So Congress being a creature of the Constitution. We talk about an act of Congress. Congress does not have constitutional authority to draft a legislation to create a new United States and delegate to that legislative United States legislative power, United States judicial power, United States executive power. The only United States that we should concern ourselves with is the United States, hear me out, that has constitutional authority, the United States that's drafted in the Constitution. The United States that's drafted, not no United States created by an act of Congress, as Congress does not have legislative power to legislate a new United States and have the United States legislative power, United States judicial power, United States executive power vested in that United States. Wants to go in the word vested. Vested and invested. Vested means inherit. V-E-S-T-E-D, inherit. That you deal with your separation of powers doctrine. That's where that comes from. It's vested. Doesn't mean invested. So the United States legislative power, United States executive power, United States judicial power is not vested. Congress did not. It's not vested in. All that's not vested in Congress. Yeah. Congress is a creature of the Constitution. Congress. So once it's principles, Israel, it's principles. Yep. What I'm saying is not complicated. Yeah. It's the misconceptions. So the misconceptions mean that they have not, if you're not groomed into jurisprudence, somebody can say anything to you. It's anything. You're not grounded in the jurisprudence. You're not grounded in constitutional jurisprudence. You're not grounded in historical jurisprudence, theoretical jurisprudence. You're not grounded in that. They can say anything to you. All right, we can move on. I think I, hit that pretty good.
Yeah, you got it. Another misconception at large, Moors are U.S. non-citizen nationals.
All right, here we go. United States Congress legislated this status. For whom? All right, here we go. The Spanish-American War. The Spanish-American War between Spain and United States ended with the 1898 treaty between Spain and the United States, peace treaty. Mm-hmm. Peace treaty ended the Spanish-American War between Spain and the United States. Spain, Cuba, Panama, Philippine, Virgin Island, Samoa, Puerto Rico were Spanish possessions. Spain ceded the Spanish possessions or Spanish territorial sovereignty over those territories, Spanish possessions, to United States through that treaty. In the treaty, the status of the inhabitants of those various territories had not been determined in the treaty. But what is in the treaty is that the United States could determine the status of the inhabitants. The United States didn't do that. Do a what? Legislation. So a legislation whereby a status was legislated for those in Guam and Puerto Rico and Virgin Island and Panama and Cuba and the Philippines. Status, and that status is what? United States non-citizen nationals. Because those areas were not incorporated within the United States Constitution. What I mean by that? What do I mean by that, Abdullah? Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution deals with the admission clause. It's the admission clause within Article 3. Article 4, Section 3. You have within that Section 3, there's admission clause. Yeah. Whereby the process by which states are admitted into the Union. So that means that those states as admitted into the Union through Article 4, Section 3 are incorporated within the Constitution. All right? Then so now you have these territories now that were ceded, that Spain ceded to United States. What do we do with these inhabitants? We have the right to decide their status now. All right, because we have territoriality. We gain territoriality over these, territories. Spain transferred. So now we have to legislate. We got to do something. All right, so we're going to legislate a what status for them? United States non-citizen national. United States non-citizen nationals. There you go. So Moors, you want that? You want that? You want that? That's inferior. They don't know Israel. They didn't know. That's all. Yeah. They didn't know. That's all. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. They're gonna learn now.
Yeah, we can move on.
You want to address this one? Moors are non-citizen nationals. You want to tell them the difference? Another misconception: Moors also say Moors are non-citizen nationals.
All right. So Moors are. Let me address that. So Moors are non-citizen nationals. Non-citizen nationals. So all right. Let me just use this principle here. You have French nationals in Germany. Mm-hmm. French nationals in Germany. French nationals in Germany are not classified as non-citizen nationals. They're classified as what? French nationals. And French nationals in Germany, French nationals in China, French nationals in Mexico. Not non-citizen nationals, because the French nationals are what? Citizens of France. German nationals in France are citizens of Germany. They identified their nationality, so within that same French nationals, the nationality in Germany, but non-citizen nationals. All right, so all right, here we go. So United States Congress created the status United States non-citizen nationals. You have non-citizen nationals of what? You have United States non-citizen nationals. But non-citizen national, you got French nationals and German nationals and Chinese nationals and right. But of course, French nationals are not French nationals in France. Is that because French national and citizen? Mm-hmm. Citizen is domestic. National is international. National has a broader meaning. Mm-hmm. National is international. I can just give an example once again.
Yeah.
So you have French citizens in Germany are called French nationals. French citizens in France are called French citizens. Indeed. Not French nationals. Yeah, Israel, you got French nationals in France. Huh? Mm-hmm. Hold on. French nationals in France. Mm-hmm. They're gonna laugh at you. You will be laughed at. I'm telling you now. Somebody who knows, they're gonna laugh at you. So please don't say that. You're gonna be laughed at. Yeah. You might want to punch somebody in the face because they're gonna laugh at you. To say French nationals in France. No, French citizens in France. French nationals in Germany. French nationals in China. French nationals in Mexico. French nationals in Philippines. French nationals in Burkina Faso. But French citizens in France. So understand the difference between French nationals and citizens. That I think we dealt with that. Mm-hmm. It's just they're understanding language once again. Yeah. This is important lesson because you can see that the misconceptions here have really inhibited the growth of this movement. Like this is major what we're dealing with. This is major. This is not some small because this is not minor. Because these have inhibited the growth of this movement.
Yeah. All right. So another misconception at large. We, the people of the United States, in the preamble of the United States Constitution, consists of the Moors and means the people of the land.
All right. So we pretty much going to use the same evidentials again, addressing the misconceptions and within this Moorish movement at large, using evidentiary standards. Those who are just joining us, thank you for joining us. Hit the like button. Let people know that we're live. All right. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. All right, so we're going to use the same evidentiary standards. We, the people of the United States, in the preamble of the United States Constitution, consist of the Moors. All right, we're going to add an evidentiary standard here. We're going to look at other constitutions. I want y'all to look up other constitutions. The people of Spain, the people of Burkina Faso, the people of Senegal, the People's Republic of China. So you have the political phrase, the people, which denotes to popular sovereignty, which means that the sovereignty is vested in the people and exercised through their elected representatives. That's a political phrase, the people. The prepositional phrase, belonging to, mean that the sovereignty belonging to, all right, the people of Burkina Faso, the people of France, the people of Republic of China, the people of the United States. All right. So once again, using the same evidentiary standards, John Jay proposed that the Articles of Confederation be drafted. 13 delegates of 13 states convened in 1774. 1774 delegates of 13 states convened in 1774, First Continental Congress. Convened the following year, Second Continental Congress. 13. Then you had the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. Delegates of the 13 states. Then you had the states had constitutional conventions. In 1776, 1777, there were constitutional conventions. States held constitutional conventions. Each of the states held constitutional conventions. Or they to form as a state, they held constitutional conventions. You had then 1777, they convened to draft the Articles of Confederation delegates. Those delegates of those 13 states that convened to draft the Articles of Confederation in 1777, they met because of the war, and you had there were other factors that, because it took 4 years for the Articles of Confederation to be drafted. So it was drafted by delegates of 13 states. The signatory section, the delegates are listed as delegates in the signatory section of the Articles of Confederation. Those are the same states, because once again, John Jay proposed that the Articles of Confederation be revised. I'm just pretty much rehashing those because it's using the same evidentiary standards, different question or different claim, using the same evidentiary evidence, using the same evidence. Then they convened. 13 delegates of 13 states convened at the Constitutional Convention, drafted. It was signed by delegates of 13 states. The delegates of the 13 states took back with them the ratification procedures. They had debates, held debates in the respect 13 states. 12 of the 13 states held ratification conventions. Of course, there's minutes and they roll call at these ratification conventions. 9 of the 12 ratified it and placed the enforcement date for March 4th, 1789. I'm just putting the due process there, using as evidence, so what's the evidence? No, don't dance. Please, no, I don't want to dance. Place the evidence on the table.
Yeah.
This is not Israel. This held me back. These misconceptions inhibited my growth. 27 years. 27 years. Age 25 to age 52. 27 years. I taught, studied. Well, I don't know about study. I can't say study, so that wouldn't apply. That's the wrong word. Throw that out. Throw that in the trash. Because the study, you study means you study looking at evidence.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I didn't study. So I can't. All right. It would be improper for me, because once again, using evidentiary standards, it would be improper for me to say that I studied these misconceptions. There's no studying these misconceptions, because you have to. The study means you're examining evidence.
Right.
Evidence. You say study. The word study. I'm using the word study in the strictest sense. So I didn't study. You ain't studying no misconceptions, because you have to use evidence to study. So throw that in the trash. But I wanted to explain why we throwing it in the trash. I taught these misconceptions or regurgitate it. Let me use correct. I gotta be very detailed. I gotta use the right words, Israel.
Yeah.
All right. I regurgitated for 27 years these misconceptions to thousands of people. To thy own self be true. We must elevate the people. Ain't no ego here, my brothers and sisters. I'm about elevating the people. Ain't no ego here. I didn't study. I explained why. I regurgitated. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. All right. Then we can move on, right?
All right.
Gotta remove the ego. Gotta remove that ego. That ego, that pride and all that stuff. That ain't gonna get us. That's not gonna get us anywhere, man.
Yeah. So the Moorish Americans are nationals of the United States federal government and not state citizens of the several states.
All right. Once again, evidentiary standards. Moorish Americans are nationals of the United States federal government, and what are the evidence? All right. In 1787, there's a treaty. 1786, Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So let's look at our original status. So we're going to start with let's start with our original status. Evidence outlining our original status. So 1786, Muhammad ibn Abdullah signed the treaty. Emperor Morocco signed the treaty of peace and friendship between His Pure Majesty Emperor Morocco and the United States. Written in Arabic, signed by our emperor, 1786, June 1786. Signed by the United States in Congress Assembly in January 1787. Ratified by the United States in Congress Assembly in July of 1787. That's our original status. 9 months after the enforcement of the United States Constitution, George Washington writes who? Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Emperor of Morocco. So a standing sovereign, the standing Moorish sovereign, George Washington writes. So Moorish Americans are national. So how did we become nationals of the United States federal government? Look at our status. We have the treaty. We got the George Washington letter. You got the Treaty of 1836. How do we become nationals of the United States government and not state citizens of the several? Well, how do we become nationals of the United States government? What would that? Let's look to international law. So we have our own government. We signed treaty with the United States. George Washington writes Emperor of Morocco 9 months after the enforcement of the United States Constitution. How do we become nationals? Let's look to international law. Subjugation. A unification treaty whereby, United States and Morocco united as one country. What will be? Where's the unification treaty? A declaration of merger. They merged as one country through a declaration of merger. Mm-hmm. How do we become United States? How do we become nationals of the United States federal government? Subjugation. In international law, that's known as acquisition of nationality through subjugation. Mm-hmm. Was it acquisition of nationality through cession? How do we become United States nationals? All right. So what's the evidence? We have our original status. So we know we had. So you see what's behind Israel? That's a Moorish flag. Oh man, that's what is a flag. That's a symbol, a national supreme, a symbol of a national supreme authority, a symbol of national supreme authority representing the sovereignty of a state, nation state, or country. Territoriality, national identity, national unity, international presence. Those are elements of a national flag. We have that. So that's our mother. How the United States become our mother? What happened to our mother? Like, what happened to our mother, and how did the United States become our mother? How did the United States become the mother of the native people of Hawaii? How did the United States become the mother of the native people of Hawaii? How did the native people of Hawaii become citizens of the United States? Through subjugation. United States, that Article 8 of the United States Codes, 1900, the year 1900. Article 8 of the United States Codes. What is that process called? What is that application called? What is the source of law? What's the source of law for Article 8 of the United States Codes, whereby the United States Congress legislates, creates a new citizenship, places the native people of Hawaii within a new citizenship framework? What is that what is the source of law for that? It's international law, known as the acquisition of nationality through subjugation. They were forced into the United States legal system and placed within the United States within a new citizenship framework. All right, we can go to the next one.
Another misconception at large: citizen means corporation and national means flesh and blood being of the land.
All right, so we're going to look at this universally. All right. Citizen of Burkina Faso. The citizens of Burkina Faso, you're looking at through legislation, through the national identity of Burkina Faso, the national identity of the people of Burkina Faso is drafted in the Burkinabe Constitution. The legislative body of Burkina Faso drafts nationality laws, Burkinabe nationality laws. So you have citizenship laws, nationality. So this would apply throughout the world. Same principle. A nationals, we said earlier before. So citizen is domestic, national is international. So Burkinabe citizens in Burkina Faso, Burkinabe nationals in France, or Burkinabe nationals in Russia. They are Burkinabe nationals in Russia. They have scholarships. The students, Burkinabe nationals in Russia, were given scholarships by Russia, by the Russian government, to study engineering and technology. They are Burkinabe nationals. They're not referred to, while they're in Russia, they're referred to as Burkinabe nationals. When they go back to Burkina Faso that we refer to as what? Burkinabe citizens. Same people. The same ones over in Russia right now. When they go back to Burkina Faso, they refer to as what? Burkinabe citizens. This is universal. Like we can't just construct. We just constructing and upon constructing. And that's why I'm coming from a universal principle perspective. And I can say the same, I just replace it. This is universal. We just constructing. You know what it is that I know what it is, Israel. They're listening to the European freedmen groups who don't know the international law. Yeah. They listen to the European freedmen groups. Yeah. They're not looking at it from the international arena perspective. So therefore, they closed it within the European freedmen group's teachings, locked into that narrow. What we're doing today, we want to expand it. That's why we're going to international. Let's give them an international framework.
Indeed. Another misconception at large. 35 Moors, along with 20 European sons, established the United States Constitution as a beacon light to stop the 100 years of wars between Moors and European colonists.
All right. So we will use the same evidence, just a different claim, and we will use the same evidence. We have to go through this again so they can be clear that we're going to be using the same evidence, or raise the same points, or ask the same questions, just a different claim. This will be the third time. All right. Yeah. So once again, John Jay, the Articles of Confederation, John Jay issued a proposal that the Articles of Confederation be revised. There were, when the treaty between Great Britain and United States was ratified in January 1784. There were states, particularly Virginia and a few others, that violated the treaty. Now, because of the structure of the Articles of Confederation, there is no national Supreme Court within the Articles of Confederation. The way the Articles of Confederation is structured, once again, Article 3, Article 2, or the Articles of Confederation, each state shall retain its sovereignty, freedom, and independence. By that substantive language, the states maintain a lot of their power. The United States and Congress assembled did not have a lot of power. There was no, within the structure of the Articles of Confederation, there's no high court, no Supreme Court. You don't have that structure as in the Articles, Article 1, the United States legislative power shall be vested in the United States judicial power. You don't have that, those three branches of government. You don't have the principles of federalism. You don't have the principles of political or popular sovereignty, where we, the people of the United States, it's not in the those principles of popular sovereignty and federalism do not exist in the Articles of Confederation. Those are not legal principles that's embodied in the Articles of Confederation. Those are major legal principles that are vested, that are in the United States Constitution, but not in the Articles of Confederation. I got to explain by principle major distinctions by the substantive language. So because of that, when you would have John Jay John Jay was Secretary of State under the Articles of Confederation. And he would, you know, he would bring matters to United States and Congress assemble dealing with matters of violations of the Articles of Confederation. It moved too slow. The states would take their time, you know, sending up war debts to the United States and Congress assemble. You can't take your time like that. You can't have these 13 states taking their sweet old time and sending up, because you got to pay these war debts. It's it's structure. Now, these are not dumb men. You say, well, Abdullah, why would they have a structure so weak? Keep in mind, it was drafted in 1777 during wartime. Remember, they were at war. They were fighting what? Their mother, a monarch. They did not want to draft, have within the Articles of Confederation a body that will resemble that which they're fighting. They're not dumb men. You gotta understand that. That's why that's why the history is important. You're not going to draft. You're fighting a monarch. You're fighting your mother. You're not going to have. You don't want draft in an instrument that which you're fighting, where you put all this power into one central body. They didn't want that, because they remember, you got to understand the experience they're going through. There's reasoning for the substantive language. That's why you got to look at it in the context of what was going on at the time of which it was drafted. But now, the war is over. The war is over now. You got what? War debts. You got treaty obligations. States are violating treaty. So now, it's not fitting us now. It's not working for us. Here comes John Jay. Let's revise the Articles of Confederation. We ain't part of that. Israel, a lot of country boys don't know this history. That's why I got to give the history, because they don't know this history. We're not part of that. They don't know this, what I'm speaking of. That's why I'm going into detail, because they don't know it.
Yeah. Given the evidence, yeah.
And everything I'm saying, they can look up themselves.
Yeah.
So
they can do that right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So now they convene. They had the New Jersey plan and the Madison plan, Jersey plan, New Jersey plan, and the Virginia plan. So they decide to go with the Virginia plan when they convene at the Constitutional Convention. They draft, they're negotiating, drafting and redrafting, and now they decide on, this instrument, United States Constitution. They sign it. The delegates of 13 states sign the Constitution. Those are the 10 states that drafted and signed the Articles of Confederation. I'm just making it evidence there. What I'm saying is that we're constructing, and then what happens is we just make stuff up to try to fit the narrative. So we just make stuff up, and we just conflate it with this construction upon construction upon construction upon construction. And then when someone asks for the evidence, that's just repeating. That's not, present the hard facts evidence, the primary sources. All right, so we can, because we hit it heavy, even for the third time. This is good, man. I'm glad you decided we should do this.
Yeah.
This is Israel's idea. It's a very great idea. In fact, we tomorrow night, y'all. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk. Let's talk YouTube channel. Let's talk YouTube channel tomorrow night. Same topic. 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same topic. Let's talk YouTube. This will be it. This will be our first time on that platform. Let's talk tomorrow night YouTube channel. I will post that because I didn't want to post it. The day, Israel, because I didn't want people to get confused. You're right. I didn't have one both float at the same time because it's the same topic. So once we get done, I'm going to post it on the Facebook page.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, we can move on to the next one.
Okay. Another misconception at large. Individual Moors can correct their own status as well as the status of others individually.
All right, here we go. I love this one. All right, so I'm going to have to discuss this in the framework of sovereignty and nationality. So we're looking at, we have the socio-cultural aspect of nationality, festivals, rituals, ceremonies, holidays, language, clothing, headdresses. That's the socio-cultural aspect of nationality. You have the legal and political framework of nationality. Within the elements. The legal or political framework of nationality. So let's look at the political framework of nationality. The political framework of nationality involves defining the national identity of the people and the governance. So that's the political framework of nationality and sovereignty, are defining the national identity of the people and governance. Then you have the legal framework of nationality, where you talk the creation of nationality laws and enforcement of nationality laws. Within the legal and political framework of nationality, one of the primary elements within the legal and political framework of nationality is legal bond. One's legal bond to a state. So one can nationalize himself. That means we don't know government. You're saying to the world that you don't know government. You're saying to the world that you don't know the legal and political frameworks of sovereignty and nationality. The Chinese nationality is defined within the Chinese nationality and sovereignty legal and political framework. If China were to lose her sovereignty, then the Chinese nationality, the legal and political framework for Chinese sovereignty and Chinese nationality is also lost and or dormant. Nationalize yourself. That doesn't fit within Israel. Nationalize yourself. That doesn't fit within the legal and political framework of nationality. That doesn't fit anywhere in the world. Doesn't fit within the legal and political framework of nationality.
Right. Because
the legal and political framework of nationality, as nationality is the foundational core to sovereignty. Sovereignty is the legal and political framework that recognizes, formalizes, and institutionalizes nationality of the people. The political framework of nationality and sovereignty, once again, the national identity involves defining the national identity of the people. Once again, the people of Germany. The people of Germany. That is the political and framework, legal frame, that's the political framework of nationality and sovereignty, which means by within the Constitution, the German Constitution, the national identity of the people are being defined, the people of Germany. Then you have the legal framework of German nationality, whereby the Germany, through their parliament, legislates German nationality laws. Now, Germany, through their executive body, enforces German nationality laws. I can say the same thing about in all the other nationalities. They're substituted. The substitute. It's a framework. They're substituted. When you say something that does not fit within the nationality and sovereignty framework, ambassadors, consuls, consul generals, head of states, charge d'affaires are not they can't recognize what you're saying. That doesn't fit within the legal and political framework of nationality. Elements within nationality, elements within the legal and political framework of nationality. Legal bond, rights and duties, state's jurisdiction, diplomatic protection. So what gives China or Mexico, what gives Mexico the right to address abuses of Mexican nationals in Germany, or Mexican nationals in China, or Mexican nationals of France? What gives Mexico the right? Why China don't have that right? Why China does not have the right to address abuses of Mexican nationals in China, Mexican nationals in France, Mexican nationals? Why China does not have that right? Why? Because, once again, the diplomatic protection, one element, diplomatic protection, because the first element, legal bond, because those Mexican nationals have a legal bond to Mexico. And by having that legal bond to Mexico, that gives Mexican the diplomatic, that they fall under diplomatic protection of Mexico, because they have the Mexican legal bond to Mexico. That's why. So Mexico can assert, once again, state jurisdiction. Mexico can assert jurisdiction over Mexican nationals in France, Mexican nationals in Germany, right? It's dealing with, you have the Mexican embassy and Mexican consulates. Yeah, what's known as consular notification. So the Mexican national in Germany have a right to consular notification. And what gives Mexico that right, because that's, once again, because Mexico defines Mexican nationality within the Mexican legal and political framework. I could say the same thing about any other nationality, say the same thing anywhere on this planet. Just say the same thing. Just tell you what, take this tape, just translate it throughout the world. Take this tape, translate it throughout the world. But when you say something that is not within the nationality and sovereignty framework, We have to raise them up, Israel, so we can get the attentions of ambassadors, consuls, consul generals, heads of states, NGOs, international jurists, international law professors. We got to speak to them. We got to be able to speak to them. I want to be able to, dance with them. We got to resonate with them. We got to raise the level. We have to raise the level of knowledge in this movement. Once again, addressing misconceptions within this Moorish movement at large using evidentiary standards. I appreciate you, Israel. I bow to you, unwrap my turban, tip my fez to you. Thank you, brother.
Indeed, brother. So another misconception.
And the bowing to Israel is out of high respect and honor.
Much respect. Much respect. Yeah. So another misconception at large, individual Moors can create a government first and then bring other Moors into their government second.
All right. That would violate or would not be in line with political legitimacy. Political legitimacy is a principle taught in political philosophy, political science. So you look up political legitimacy and political science. Embodied within the definition would be the consent of the people. So without political legitimacy, the consent of the people, the will of the people, you can do what? Create a government first, then bring other Moors into their government second. Mm-hmm. Wow. You don't even talk about drafting a constitution and then having, even if one person drafts a constitution, then among the people, they choose delegates to convene at a caucus, or they actually to select delegates at a caucus to review that constitution, to review it, then present it to the people, and then had a referendum or a plebiscite. The due process is not there. The political legitimacy, that's not aligned with the political legitimacy, the will of the people, the consent of the people. It lacks due process.
Yeah.
Once again, we're showing the world that we don't know government. Which means, what that means, hear me out, but this is important now. That means they're not going to want to deal with you. Because if you do not have the rule of law and due process principles built in your structure, you ain't going to have it for them. You have it for your own people.
Yeah.
You don't have the rule of law, due process principles built in your structure for your own people. Remember, they know these things, Israel. Political science, political philosophers, international jurists, heads of states, ambassadors, chartered affairs, consuls, consul generals, law professors, international law professors, they know this.
Yeah.
See, we have to have, we got to raise the level. Because all these head of states and chartered affairs ambassadors, they went to school. They went to school. International jurists and international lawyers and ambassadors and diplomats and chartered affairs, and they went to school. So we got to be their school, because they don't. It's the guesswork and the principles are not there, and I'm saying we're talking about governing, constitutional self-governance. With what knowledge? We got to be hard on ourselves, man. We do, because this is our lives we're dealing with.
Yeah.
We got children. You got young children. I got my daughter's 19. Well, she'll be 19 on at the end of this month on Halloween. She'll be 19 on Halloween. Freshman in college. 19. When I say that, wow.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so
misconceptions were definitely detoxing the conscious, the Moorish conscious community.
absolutely. So we have 9 minutes left. So what, we got time for one more? Maybe two more. All right.
Another misconception at large. Once you claim your Moorish nationality, you cease to be a United States citizen.
All right. Man, all right. So once you claim your Moorish nationality, all right, so let me address this. Once again, the elements, the primary element of nationality within the political and legal framework of nationality. Remember, so you have the socio-cultural aspect of nationality, then you have nationality within the legal and political framework. So within the legal and political framework of nationality, the primary element is legal bond. Legal bond to what? Legal bond or legal link or legal status to what? A state. So we talk about Moorish nationality. So claiming our Moorish nationality restores our legal bond to our Moorish state. How? When she's still asleep. Our sovereignty has been lost. You cannot have a legal bond be restored to a state whose sovereignty has yet to be restored. We are still under United States subjugation. Nationality cards and all, paperwork, whatever paperwork you claim and all. Abdullah Bey don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to get that too, Israel. I know that. Yeah. I'm going to get it. I know that. I'm ready for it. I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to get it, brother. You know I'm going to get it. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're going to get it. They're going to attack me. I know it. They're going to attack me. They're going to have this. I'm fine with that.
As long as they can attack with evidence. We'll be all right.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not going to do that. So that's out.
Yeah, there's no evidence.
They're not going to do that, bro. I know, brother.
Yeah.
Israel, I guarantee you, they're not going to do that. It's going to be emotional attacks.
Yeah.
Then Israel.
Whose claims, yeah.
No evidentiary attacks is coming my way. Not one.
That's a disease.
That
man.
we restored our Moorish sovereignty. That we reclaimed our Moorish sovereignty. We revived our Moorish statehood.
Yeah, that's keeping us sick.
That we completed the international legal process of reversion of sovereignty. Completed it. You at least set the stage 112 years ago. I'm talking about completing it. Completing it is what? Reverting, reviving. Meaning that we will be on the same level of China, France, et puis Cavasso. Revert full sovereignty, full independence.
Yeah.
But they're gonna show me that? Because in order to have the legal bond be restored, you have to restore our mother, revive our Moorish statehood. Yep. We're still subject under United States jurisdiction. We're still subject the political status has not changed for conscious Moors. The political status of our being subjugated under United States jurisdiction has not changed for one iota conscious Moor. Israel, I gotta present it this way. I got to bring it, brother. I can't hold back. I got to bring it so that we can what? Elevate.
Yep.
I cannot be afraid to bring it. I cannot be afraid to bring it.
You need these proper concepts in unison. So yeah. You want to address one more?
Yeah, we just one more. We got 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes.
Another misconception at large. Moors can correct their denationalized, dehumanized, and subjugated status as Negro, Black, and colored by simply going into a United States court and declaring their Moorish nationality.
All right, here we go. Mexican nationality is defined within the Mexican nationality and Mexican sovereignty legal and political frameworks. United States courts do not have the Moorish sovereign power to define Moorish nationality. All right. If France does not, the French courts do not have Chinese sovereign power to define Chinese nationality. So, without reviving our Moorish state, United States courts don't have that power. You're talking about Moorish sovereignty, because nationality is a core foundation of sovereignty. So you're talking Moorish nationality, embodied is the nationality and sovereignty are deeply interwoven. So if you're talking about nationality within the political legal framework, it's embodied, it's deeply interwoven with sovereignty, with Moorish sovereignty. That's not Moorish sovereignty. You going to United States courts and declaring your nationality in United States courts?
Jeez.
Declaring your Moorish nationality in United States courts.
Yeah. Proof of incompetence. Yeah.
That's more sovereign. That's not more sovereignty. So I want to thank you, Israel, for suggesting that we do this. Once again, tomorrow night, y'all, let's talk. Let's talk YouTube page, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same topic, addressing the misconceptions within this Moorish movement at large, using evidentiary standards. 8:00 p.m. Israel and I will be live and direct. Yep. All right, I will have that posted soon we get done. I will post that on my Facebook page, share it. And I'll do a lot of sharing. I'll repost it tomorrow morning, but I want to definitely I'm going to post it as soon as we get off. All right. Thank you again, Uncle Hank. We appreciate you. Hank will be on in 16 minutes. Hank and a special guest will be live and direct on this platform, Magnus Crystals Pyramids. Please stay tuned. Stay engaged. 9 and 16 minutes. Hank Rising and his special guest will be live and direct in 15 minutes. I greatly appreciate you. Across the screen is my website, mooresandmasonry.org. If you're interested in getting my books, please go to my website. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night on Let's Talk YouTube page, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Soon we get off, going to post it. Peace, everyone.
Peace, peace.